Hi everyone. Welcome to this webinar about AI agents in Drupal. So, folks who have not been a part of this series in the past, what we have been doing here is conducting a Drupal AI awareness series. It's a part of an AI practitioner event called Voices, happening on 29th and 30th of November. We're having a Drupal AI code sprint being conducted as a part of that event. Also, we have a general AI practitioner track running in parallel for Oasis. I'm not going to talk a lot about Oasis as a part of this webinar because we want to focus primarily on AI agents. But as a part of few previous sessions, what we have done is we've tried to look at the foundation of Drupal AI, how it came into being, what are a few things that it supports from a site builder perspective primarily, and how do you debug the output that is getting generated by AI. In this session, the prime focus is going to be on agents, agentic AI within Drupal, which is also going to dive a little bit deeper into the code base. So this session is going to be a little bit more intense compared to the previous ones. What we're going to do here is look at what are a few things that Drupal AI ecosystem provides you in terms of building agents. So it's not just one-off use case which we are going to showcase as a part of this session, but what Drupal AI empowers you to build using the agentic framework within Drupal. So what are agents? What are tools? How do you connect agents together to achieve a bigger task? All of that is going to be something that we're going to look at as a part of the session. I have with me Akhil here, who's also a co-maintainer of AI agents module. I will not waste much of a time and hand it over to Akhil quickly. Akhil, you're going to take it from here quickly and take us through the AI agents journey.
Thanks, Piyush. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, Akhil.
Thank you. Thanks.
So hi everyone. Please feel free to put them in the chat. We will take pit stops in between to answer them. And the first few minutes of the session is going to be focused on a little bit of theory for you to understand the terminology which we'll be using across the session. So the first few minutes will be more important for you to understand and ask questions if there are any in terms of what does this mean. With that, I'll let Akhil kick it off.
Thank you, Piyush. Hi, so welcome to this third webinar on our Drupal AI Foundation series. I'm Akhil. I'm working as a backend developer here at QD42. I've been working on Drupal for nearly 6 years now, and I'm also mainly working on open source contributions in the AI initiative, specifically on Drupal Canvas. That's a brief introduction about me. As Piyush mentioned, so far we have covered a bunch of submodules of AI and some other modules that are part of the AI ecosystem. We covered modules for content generation. We discussed how to create chatbots, then how to create AI assistants, how to set up a vector database, how to set up a RAG system, then how to debug the AI requests, and what are the options available to debug tasks related to AI and all. And today's section is exclusively on AI agents. And before moving to agents, first let's understand why they exist. So this is what happens in a normal AI workflow. You will ask a question to the LLM, it will respond in a plain text. So it's not able to actually do some tasks for us. For example, if we ask it to add the recipe for chocolate ice cream to a particular website, it can give us the recipe, but it won't be able to create that content in the site. We have to manually copy and paste and create the content because there is no connection between. It doesn't know how to connect to the website. And one way to overcome this limitation is to ask the agent to give a structured response. It can be JSON, YAML, or anything similar. So within the system prompt, we'll say always format your response in as JSON. Then the output will be more predictable to us. The model will respond with a JSON. And then using some custom code, we'll be able to parse it. And for the recipe creation example, we'll be able to create the recipe content. While this works, this method has a lot of limitations. The first one is the entire flow depends upon the model giving us a valid JSON. If it adds greetings like "Hi, here is the JSON you requested" before the JSON, or maybe it adds something like "Do you need assistance with something else" after the JSON, then the complete flow breaks. And another disadvantage is this is not extensible. Let's say once the recipe is created, we need to send a mail to the site administrator with a short summary of the content that was created. So in this approach, what you have to do is, again, you need to build some custom logic to get the details of the previously saved recipe, make an agent call, then make a call to the LLM, and LLM, it doesn't know how to send a mail. So you need to ask it to give another structured response with the mail subject and mail body, process it again, and trigger the mail from your side. So as we try to add more and more functionalities, this method becomes less and less maintainable and efficient. And that's why agents are present. Then what are AI agents? Then how do they solve this problem? AI agents are basically, let's say, it's LLMs with a bunch of tools. And tools are what help them to carry out a specific task, communicate with the external system. You might have used, like all of us have used ChatGPT, right? So when we ask it about who won the 2011 World Cup, it can instantly give an answer because it happened in the past and the model was already trained on that data. Whereas if you ask it who won yesterday's T20 match, then you will see it triggers a web search to find the latest data from the internet and then summarizes it and gives us the response. And this web search, it's doing what's known as a tool call. So a tool is basically let's say in Drupal terms, it is a plugin that allows the agent to interact with the external system. And when an agent uses tool, we'll say that it operates in a loop. What it means is, consider the previous example. So we ask it who won the yesterday's T20 match. It first triggers the tool. That tool fetches the results from the real-time results from the internet, and the results are not directly sent to us. It is sent back to ChatGPT. ChatGPT analyzes this request and then formulates the response based on that. So there's a loop happening here. It triggers the tool does something, tool returns the result, the AI looks at this result, and based on that, it decides whether it should respond back to the user or it should trigger a second tool. So this thing is known as loop. So AI agent basically works on loops. Whatever tool it uses, its result is sent back to the agent, and when we create an agent, it can, just like how a human does, it can autonomously decide whether to when to use a tool, how to use a tool, and in what order tools should be used. And another, in Drupal, this agent functionality is provided through a separate contrib module called AI agent. So it's not part of AI module yet, but in the next major version of AI, which is AI version 2.0, AI agents will be part of the AI core. But currently, it's its own standalone module. And to create AI agent, once you install the module, agents can be created from the UI itself. It's created as it's designed as a config entity. And there are now tools that are being developed, like you might have heard of Flow Drop and all, which lets us create agents just like how we do in other platforms like N8 and all, which provides a graphical interface. But out of the box, we can create it just like any other config entity. And let's have a look at the previous example, how it works. Since this is a big diagram, I'll open it here. So the user is again asking, add the recipe for chocolate ice cream. This time the LLM has a tool called add recipe, and that tool has two arguments, title and instructions. So when it receives the user request, it understands that, okay, there is a tool available. I just need to pass values to title and instructions. So the response from the LLM would be what known as tool code or function code. It says, I need to use this tool, add recipe, and these are the arguments where it gives the recipe title and instructions. And in Drupal backend, this tool will be a normal plugin. Within that plugin, whatever arguments are provided by the agent, those will be fetched And since we are creating recipe, the recipe content will get created. The flow doesn't stop there. Once the recipe is created, a message is sent back from the tool saying that the recipe is created. And this message is sent, the tool result is sent back to the agent, which completes the loop, which completes the complete loop. And then if it is a success message, the agent can say that I have ordered the recipe for chocolate ice cream. Whereas if there was some kind of error, let's say you have some kind of validation in your site saying that the title should not be more than 30 characters. So, but the agent gave a big title for the recipe. Then what the tool will trigger an error. The error will be sent back to the agent. So the tool result that gets part of its chat history. Then it will trigger it again with a shorter title till the recipe gets saved complete. And the previous example we discussed, sending a mail after the recipe has been created. What we can do is, anyway, the model does not have capability to send the mail. So we will create a tool that accepts the mail subject and mail body called send mail. And that tool will be attached to the agent. And in the system prompt, we will say, just mention that once the recipe is created successfully, send a mail to this particular email address. So after it completes the first loop, the second loop starts with the tool call to the function by calling the tool that triggers the mail. Mail gets triggered. The result is again sent back to agent, and it will respond back. So these are few essential concepts related to agent. So before moving to the next session, if anyone have any queries, we can discuss that now.
Yeah, I think that was pretty intense. Satosh has a question: does this work fine with direct fields, or also work with entity reference or other entity types like paragraph, and how it finds which paragraph to use? Akhil, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So it's up to the tool designer. So if you have a list of paragraphs available, first the AI does not know what all paragraphs are available in your page, right? So first you need to create a tool that gets all the paragraphs available in your site. Maybe it's name and a short description, like accordion, use this for this, the tab, use this for this, within this tab, add this cupboard, like that. You need to create a tool, or in any other way, you need to first give this context to the AI on what each paragraph represents and how each paragraph should be used. And then once the model understands that, then you can decide the tool. The designing the tool is like our choice, like how it should be designed, whether what all arguments should be given. Maybe we can ask within one tool, we can say machine name of the paragraph can be one argument, and data to be placed in the paragraph can be another argument. So it's up to us how we design the tool and how entity reference fields are handled. I hope.
Akhil, I think the one kind of follow-up question on this, that those all configuration is already like there in the Drupal system, right? Like what are the different paragraphs that we have on the website, and paragraph is something that can be also nested within it, right? I mean, like nesting can also be generated. So is it something that is kind of
so Andosh, that's an interesting question.
Right?
I got your point. I'll quickly take that up. So Drupal core provides you with certain set of tools out of the box, which means that the entities which are available within Drupal core, we have some tools available under AI agents module for supporting certain actions around them. We'll look at those tools briefly once Akhil jumps into the demo section, which means that for direct fields, you definitely have support, but the fields need to have descriptions added to them, which is something that you'll need to ensure while doing the site build. For paragraphs, I don't think there's a tool available at this stage, but as we saw, like a tool in Drupal code base is nothing but a plugin. Yeah. Right? So you can go ahead and extend the plugin ecosystem to create a tool for paragraph entities.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Adding to that, like maybe in some sites, there will be a parent paragraph component called content or something like that. And within that content paragraph, other sub paragraphs can be added, and that's how the content is structured. Then this context should be pass to the AI. Like that can be even a simple instruction in its prompt, like whenever you are creating content, always use the content paragraph as the first one and nest all the other paragraphs inside it. Similarly, there can be a parent accordion paragraph and accordion item child paragraphs. So when designing accordions, first use the accordion paragraph. So this kind of instruction, that's what we mean by descriptions. So once we give this context to AI, it will understand how to use them. Then we can design our own function to maybe we can ask it to give the data in a JSON format, like paragraph 1 content, the child paragraph content, like that. Then we can write our own function to process it and create the node.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to add there is Drupal AI agents module out of the box is giving you certain set of tools and a framework to build agents and tools within Drupal AI ecosystem, right? Which means that it's enabling you with certain set of out of the box tools, and then it gives you an API to extend it to meet your custom needs. There's also an initiative, or there's also a need today to leverage the API and create more and more agents within Drupal AI ecosystem. Which is one of the areas we will also be touching base on during the code sprint happening on 29th and 30th. The idea is to also create some more useful agents, which make it easy for people to be able to leverage AI agents module. I saw Prabhavati raised her hand. Prabhavati, is there a question?
Yeah, Piyush. Actually, I have a question that how agent can identify which tool we need to call. Like, for example, as per Akil, we have two tools. One is recipe to create, another one is mail tool, right? How agent can identify like which tool we have to call? I mean, based on the arguments, or is there any direction we are telling to agent to call?
Very good question. It's description of the tool, which basically tells the agent that this is the capability of this tool. When you put a description, when you put a query to the agent, it's able to understand that this is the tool that matches the user intent.
Okay.
And tries to leverage that tool. So your tools are as good as your descriptions are, and similarly, your agents will function as good and as detailed the prompts that you put in.
Okay.
While building these agents, so we'll see all of this using a demo use case here.
Sure, Piyush. Thank you.
Perfect. But in essence, tools are nothing but plugins in Drupal. When we say tools, we mean plugins created using the plugin API.
Thanks, Piyush. If there are no more questions, like we are going to dig deep into all these concepts in this session. So if there are no questions, I'll proceed with the next slides. So we were discussing about tools. So what are tools? Tools are like, as Piyush mentioned, these are basically plugins. So out of the box, when you install AI agents, it detects all the Drupal core actions as tools. So we have actions like publish content, unpublish content, delete content. All these things can be used as tools. Then even other agents can be used as tools. In Drupal CMS, if you apply the AI chatbot recipe, we get the chatbot, right? So that comes with few agents. There is a content type agent that is specifically focused on managing content types. So it has its own tools to create, edit, and delete content types. Then there is a field agent that focuses on managing fields with its own tools for adding fields, setting the field weight, formatters, widget, and all. Then there is some in chatbot. Chatbot uses these individual agents as its own tools. So when I, as a user, type that, create a movie review content type and add a media field to it, then it understands that, okay, there is a tool, there is a sub-agent available called content type agent that can be used to create the content type. So it will invoke that. Then once content type is created, the second, there is a field agent available, so it will invoke that agent. So this section of one agent delegating tasks to its sub-agents and completing a task, this entire setup is also known as agent orchestration. So instead of creating a single agent that manages everything, we break down the functionalities and create specific agents for each. Then what if also, like, once you install AI agents, it also comes with around 20 to 25 tools that can be used to carry out various actions. And then what if you have a custom use case? that cannot be handled with any of the existing tools. Then you can create your own custom tool. So a custom tool is a plugin. And while creating the custom tool, all you have to do is define the arguments for the tool, because agent will be passing arguments to the tool. And then once the arguments are fetched, do the necessary logic on what to do with that argument. It can be creating a content type, changing a permission, sending a mail, anything. And once that task is done, send the output back to the agent. So these are the 3 steps you need to follow when you are creating a tool. Let's see the example of an existing tool in a agents module.
Yeah, just to add to that, think of arguments as the data points or inputs that a tool needs to act upon. For example, like if I want to fetch the list of taxonomy terms, it would need to understand which vocabulary does it need to fetch that data from, right? So think of arguments as data points that a tool needs to be able to execute on.
Yeah. So here, this is a tool that comes in a agents module called list taxonomy terms, which helps to fetch the taxonomy terms that are available under a specific vocabulary. And you can see, since this is a plugin, it is based in the SRC plugin a function called directory. It has its ID, name, the tool name, then description. So this answers the question asked by Prabhavati. This is what the agent uses to identify the use of this tool. So here within the description, we said this is used to list taxonomy terms. And then group, this is just for listing. And context definition is where the arguments of the tool are defined. And each argument has its own definition, description, which will be again used by the agent to identify how to pass argument to this. So here, this particular tool, so to get the, like, even if you think as a programmer, if you want to get the terms in a vocabulary, we need the vocabulary ID. So that becomes in the same way. We have the thought process should be same when we are designing that tool. So here, VID, vocabulary ID, is one argument. Then there is term ID to load the data for a specific term. Parent to load all the child terms that are present inside below a specific parent in a given vocabulary. And if we check the plugin body, here we can see it gets the vocabulary argument, term ID, and parent, and it's just doing the normal Drupal, using the Drupal entity query to find the results. It loads the terms and then simply outputs the term as YAML. So this set output is where it sends the result back to the agent. So within the tool itself, there is no AI or LLM code. It's just a plain simple Drupal function.
Right. And one thing to add there about arguments is you notice there is a required attribute within arguments which is set to false over here. This could be set to true, where we need so if an argument is a mandatory argument, it can be set to true, and my agent will be able to question back or ask a follow-up question if this argument is not available within your request. So let's say my VID was set to require true, and I sent a prompt that I need a list of all taxonomy terms. It would come back and ask me the question that which vocabulary ID do you want the lookup to be performed on? So that's where the intelligence comes in. So the agent brings in the intelligence, and the tools are the ones which are responsible to execute the task, actually.
Exactly. So yeah, this is how a tool, you can define a tool. Then moving forward, then once we create an agent, how do we debug an agent or tool? So within AI agents module, there is a submodule available called AI Agents Explorer, which gives us a UI like this that can be used to give any input and see what the agent does in each loops. We can. It also gives the option to test its output based on multiple models, LLM models, and then to debug tools. There is AI API Explorer module available. So we have already discussed about this in our last 2 sessions. AI API Explorer is a core module. It's a submodule of AI Core. Once you install it, you get multiple debugging options. Like there is a chat generation explorer, which is like similar to OpenAI Playground or Google AI Studio. We can give a system prompt and get the response from the agent. Then there is a vector database explorer that lets you directly query the vector database and see the results, their score and all. Similarly, it also comes with a tools explorer that gives us a user interface to give arguments to this tool and see how its output, how the output is generated based on those arguments. Then finally, I would also like to also mention about AI agents test module. This module is used to basically test the AI agents. Let's say you created a very complex AI agent and you have manually tested it on across different scenarios. And now the prompt is very large and it's consuming a lot of tokens. You plan to optimize the prompt. You optimize it, then you need to verify that all the conditions that you're previously working are not affected by this change. So instead of manually verifying, you can use this module. And within using this module, you can add different test cases. Like if the user prompt is this, then this tool should be used by the agent. Or if the user input was something else, then the output from the agent should have this particular sentence, or it should be exactly like this. These kind of conditions can be added and set. And then this can be set with different providers, different AI models. So it's an incredibly useful module. It saves a lot of time from manual testing. Yeah, that was all the theory. Now let's jump to the demo. Before going to the demo, if anyone still have any questions, we can maybe discuss that for 1 or 2 minutes. Are there any questions here?
Or you can leave them in chat and we can come back to them after the demo.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so again, I have a vanilla Drupal site here. And I have set up OpenAI provider. Yeah, so in our first session, we saw how to work with Gemini provider because it was free, right? But to test agents, you won't be able to use it with Gemini. The Gemini API itself is capable of doing this tool calls and all, but the provider module is not yet capable of handling it. There is a patch available, but I haven't tested it. But other modules like OpenAI, Anthropic, Amaze, all these providers are capable. So I have used OpenAI here. And the AI agents module is also installed. I'm going to install AI Agents Explorer as well, which is a debugging module. And once AI agents, once the AI agent module is installed, you get this AI. You can go to configuration AI agents. To create an agent, click on new AI agent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an agent that helps me add terms to a vocabulary. So I'm going to create a vocabulary called fruits here. So I have created a vocabulary. So I need an agent that can add terms to this particular vocabulary. So let's give this its name as taxonomy term generator. The description. So this description will be used when other agents use this agent as its tool. So this agent is capable of adding new terms to a given vocabulary. Then the important section is this agent instructions. Here, this is basically where the system prompt should be added. I'm going to add you are a helpful assistant who can suggest new terms to any given Drupal. Okay, let's keep it as simple. Then I'm not going to select any tool here. I'm going to simply save this agent. And once the AI Agents Explorer module is enabled, we get this Explore option that lets us see how this we can basically use to see the output of agent, like basically what it does in each steps. So I'm going to say add 3 fruit names to the fruits vocabulary. So I haven't selected any tools. So what it's going to do is it will suggest 3 fruit names, just like how ChatGPT does. And it even gave us instruction on how this can be added, but it didn't add the term because there is no tool for it to add the term. Even if you check the fruits vocabulary, nothing has been added here. Let's see how the behavior changes once we add a tool to it. So I'm going to agent again, edit the taxonomy term generator agent. And to add a tool, scroll down to the tools section, click on select tools. So here we can see all the available tools. Sub-agent tools lists other agents that are present in the site. Information tools, these are all coming out of the box with AI agents. Then Drupal core actions like promote content, make selected content sticky. So these things are also tools. I'm going to use the modified taxonomy term tool. So from its description, I can see this is used to either create or edit taxonomy terms. So I'm going to select this tool, and it has been added here. Save it, and let's try with the same prompt again. Here in the response, you can see it's now using the tool. It passed the VID arguments as fruits and the term names as apple. So instead of giving us a verbal response. And then you can see, like, here there are 2 sections, right? It uses the tool, which completes to one loop, and the result of the tool was sent back to the agent. And based on that result, it says that the fruits have been added to the vocabulary. And if you check the fruits vocabulary, you can see the terms have been added here. And let's check one more thing. I'm going to edit this agent. I'm going to select tools. Test this tool option. So this option will be available once you install the AI API Explorer module, and we can see the output of this. If I click on this for the modified taxonomy term, this tool accepts VID, term ID, name, all these things as arguments. And here the name is a required parameter. So what I can do is I can directly give the value as fruits. And let's say I'm going to add banana here. And if I click on run function, the term banana was successfully created or edited. And if you check the output, we can see the term was added here. So this is the success message that the agent sees when it used the tool. Okay, then let's do another thing. So since here you can see the term banana was already here, so it added duplicate terms. I want the agent to add only unique terms. So to add unique terms, it should first understand what all terms are there in the vocabulary, right? For that, we need to use another tool that gets the available terms from a given vocabulary and gives it to the agent. And we have a tool available for that as well called, we saw that, right? This list taxonomy term, which gives the value of all the available terms. I can even see its output from here, from the AI API Explorer. If I select the list taxonomy term and pass PID as fruits, these are the terms available under the fruits vocabulary. So I'm going to select this tool here, list taxonomy terms, and I'm going to add it here. And within its prompt, I'm going to say, make sure you are adding a unique terms to the vocabulary. Use the list taxonomy term tool to identify the existing terms. Then save it. Try again. I'm going to try the same, add 3 fruit names to the fruits vocabulary. And now the first response is it's using the list taxonomy term tool to see the existing terms. Then it adds then it sees the available terms. Then it adds the terms that are not present, and the task gets completed. So here it ran 3 loops. So that and sometimes the agent can go on infinite loops. So to control that, there is a section, a parameter available called max loops. So if I change this to 1 and save it and try the same prompt again, the agent won't work. It will trigger the tool, and once it gets the response, the first loop is completed. Then we are a second loop will not get initiated because the max loop parameter is set as 1. So this max loop it's basically a security parameter to prevent the agent from going to infinite loops. Suppose if there is an error when creating taxonomies, then it will try again and again till the error gets resolved. To prevent that, we can use the max loop settings.
Yeah, this is also a known problem statement with autonomous agents, wherein your agents may go into loops trying to complete the task, running over same set of feedback again and again. And this configuration, it allows us to control the number of times we want before the agent concludes on something. In an ideal scenario, your agent should be able to conclude on a task in less number of loops, but even in the worst case, it should fail. It should either fail or it should give you a success within a max number of loops. So this setting, it allows you to basically set a upper limit in terms of number of times an agent should try to correct itself.
Okay, then let's understand one more crucial concept, that is default information tools. So here so I have changed the loop. Let's see how it works. So first the agent uses the list taxonomy term to understand the available terms. Then it uses the second tool to add the terms. So each of these entries you see here correspond to individual codes to your AI agent, which adds to the response time, the token usage, everything. So if you think if there was a way to give the list of available terms within the system prompt itself, then the agent doesn't have to use this tool at all to add the unique terms, right? For that, there is a way available. We have this default information tools section here. What happens is whatever tools you add here, those will get invoked before the agent, the request is sent to the agent. And the result of the tool will get added to the system prompt itself. So whatever types are there would get added here, so that by the time it sees the prompt, agent has full context of all the available terms. So let's see how we can use default information tools to give the data of existing terms and how the output changes based on that. So I'm going to delete list taxonomy term from here. And the UI for it is a little bit, it's not that user friendly. We have to give it as a YAML in a YAML format. So I have it copied here. So we need to give a key. So this key can be anything. I'm going to give it as existing terms. So within this key, we need to give a label. I'm going to say the terms available under fruits vocabulary. Then the tool, which tool should be triggered? It is list taxonomy term, which is the machine name, like ID of the tool. AI agents, this one, AI agents list taxonomy term. And then parameters. So this tool has PID, TID, and parent. So when it gets invoked, we need to find out the terms available under the fruits vocabulary. So I'm going to change the PID to fruits. And let's save it. And we don't need this instruction anymore. Use the list taxonomy term to identify the existing terms. I'm going to save it. And let's trigger the same prompt again. And here you can see it's directly calling the second tool for adding the terms without calling the first term to get the term names. And we saved one request there. And if you go to content and AI agent decisions, so this tab would appear once you install the AI agents explorer module. You can actually see within the system prompt. So we can, so these are all logs of individual agent calls that were made. If you edit one log, you can see the prompt it used, and within the prompt, the tool results are also getting added. These are the existing tools available. And that's how the default information tool works. It basically gets the result of a tool, then adds it to the main system prompt, so that it becomes part of the initial context itself. Now let's go ahead and create a real agent. So I'm going to create a.
Akhil, I'll just take a pause. Want you to pause here a little bit.
Sure.
And want to add, these are a few best practices while creating agents, guys. It's so since the Drupal AI module gives you a framework to build agents, it becomes very flexible in terms of how do you design your agent, right? But when you're designing an agent, a couple of things become very important, like how soon, how quick your agent is able to respond back. Uh, uh, what is the cost of each loop execution? Because every loop executing is also costing you based on the number of tokens that get utilized with that prompt going to your LLM provider. All of these things become very important, along with the quality of response that you're getting as an output, right? What Akhil mentioned here are a few optimization techniques as well as best practices while designing your agent. So, for example, if you know that your agent needs some information to process, it's important that you provide those data points as a part of the default tools. All right, which will help your agents to conclude in less number of loops. Also, be able to save cost on each transaction or each loop, which is running there. Just wanted to add that. Okay, you can resume.
Sure. So now I'm going to create a real agent. So what I need is I need to use the chatbot to add new recipes to my site. So if I look at the recipe, it has a lot of fields like recipe name, preparation time, cooking time, then recipe category. That should be selected from one of these tags. Then there is tags, image, summary, all those things. So, but when I need an agent, so I need an agent that creates a recipe. So for the agent to create a recipe, it needs a tool. So I need to build a tool that my agent can use to add recipes to our site, to my site. So I have created a tool for that. Here, I'll just give a quick walkthrough of the tool. So the tool is called create recipe node, and the arguments under context definition are the arguments we need: the recipe title, preparation time, cooking time, servings, difficulty, recipe category, tags, then summary. So whatever arguments are there, then there is an image prompt which can be used to generate an image generate a recipe image with another the OpenAI's image generation model. And if we look at the code, I'm getting all these values, then creating a recipe node and setting the values to the recipe node. And this is what this tool does. Then there are additional validations like the taxonomy terms provided by the agent should be the ones that are already available in the site. So some additional validations there. And I'm triggering an error from here if the ID given by the agent is not present, so that when this exception gets triggered, it can see the error message and generate the proper ID and all. And the next generate recipe image basically takes the prompt and generates the image with the OpenAI's DALL-E 2 model, since I'm using that model. So I have installed this module in this site. So I'm going to add my agent now. I'm going to call it recipe creation agent. This agent can add recipes to the site. And within the agent instructions, I have a prompt in Hanji. I'll paste it here. So you are a helper assistant that adds new recipe nodes to the site. The site is using the Mummy profile, and so you should use the create recipe node tool. So this is my custom tool to add new recipes. Then recipe category and tag fields are reference fields. So only use the available terms. Then how will we give the list of available terms? We can use the default information tools and use the listed taxonomy terms tool here. So I'm using the listed taxonomy term tool with first argument as recipe category to get the terms of recipe category. Then tags. Tag is another vocabulary to get the terms under tags. And under tools, I will select my tool, create recipe node. And this also has a description. This tool can be used to add new recipe content, which can be used by the agent to understand that, okay, it should use this tool. I have selected this, clicking on save. First, let's verify that it works correctly. I'm going to use the explore option. Let's say add the recipe for vada pav. And it's going to take some time because this is a big content and we have image generation as well. And the tool requires a lot of arguments like instruction and all, but we can see, so it uses the create recipe node. It gives the preparation time, cooking time, tags, recipe category, instructions, ingredients, all these things. And the image prompt is also given, which will be used by the used to generate an image. And let's wait for this task to get completed. Okay, it is now completed. And if I check my content, the recipe for vada pav has been created, even with the image. So I have tested my tool. It has even added the tags and all as well. And now I need an interface because we can't give this interface to my editors to create the content, right? So one interface that is available out of the box is a chatbot. So to create a chatbot, first we need to create an AI assistant. So I'm coming here. I'm going to add a new assistant called, I'm going to call it as Umami Assistant. And I'm going to select the recipe creation agent here under agents to use. And in its prompt, I'm going to say, you are a manager agent in a Drupal site that has lot of recipes. Use the tools available to you to add new recipes to the site. Just a simple prompt so that it uses this recipe creation agent. Save it, and if you need to know about this assistance and chatbot, you can watch the recording of the previous session where we have explained it in detail. So once the assistant is created, to place the chatbot, install the AI chatbot module. Let me just ensure that it is installed. Yeah, it is installed. So then go to structure, block layout. Then I'm going to place it in the Claro theme, in the content region. Place the deep chat chatbot. Select the assistant you just created. And under styling, I will place it in the toolbar itself. Save. And we get this assistant option here. What I can do is I can ask it to add the recipe for pav bhaji. It's probably a caching issue. Let me just clear the cache. Cache has been cleared. Let's try this again. Good. It's triggering my assistant, and I can see it's calling the recipe creation agent. And now the agent will call up my custom tool, and the recipe will get added to the site. And we can see what's happening in real time from the AI agent decisions tab as well. So here, if I go to the last entry, it is actually the recipe creation agent that got created and add a recipe for pav bhaji. It uses the create recipe tool. So the tool has also been fired. And after some time, you should be able to see the agent has completed the, yeah, so it has given us a summary. Basically, with some prompt adjustments, we'll be able to fix this, but it has said that the recipe has been added. And if you check, the pav bhaji recipe has been added with the image and all details. And now what I need to do is I need to create an AI agent that can send an email campaign. So it can basically look at the recipes that are available in my site and select the recipes based on, let's say I need to send an email celebrating Indian street foods. Okay. And this email is mainly intended to increase the engagement in my site. So I'll add some of the recipes available in my site, and in the email body, I'll ask the users to visit the site to learn about more recipes, to figure out more recipes. For that, I'm going to edit the existing assistant. and adjust the prompt. I have the prompt in hand, so I'm going to replace it with this. So it says use the available tools to add new recipes, because we still need the functionality of adding recipes. You also create email campaigns featuring recipes. Then how does the agent identify the contents that are available in the site? If I ask it to send an email campaign for about Indian street foods, then it should be able to find, semantically search our site's content and figure out what all recipes are there, right? For that, we have to use the RAG tool. This we covered in detail in our previous session as well. So you can watch that recording to understand about it better. I'm not going too deep because we are about time. And then use the RAG tool to figure out the recipes, and then prepare the email body to include recipe name, a short set. So what all things should be there in the email body. Then do not include more than 3 recipes per email. Some general instructions. So we have only added one tool here, recipe creation agent, for creating the recipes. To search the vector database, we need to select this enable RAG here. And in this setup, I have already indexed all the contents under Milvis. So all the recipe contents have been indexed here. And if using the AI AP Explorer's Vector VDB Explorer, I can actually see that if I search for Indian street foods, I can see like even the contents that was created recently got indexed in the vector database, and those are coming here in the search results. And we can see the score as well. So it's around 0.4, and the second one is 0.3. So we need to give a threshold score here, this RAG threshold. So I'm going to, so this means that it will only consider results that has score above this, whatever score we see here. So now I'm going to give this as 0.3 and save it. Now it has 2 tools, the RAG tool to search the vector database and the recipe creation agent to create the recipe. Then it needs to send the mail as well, right? So there is already a Drupal core action available called send email that we can use as a tool. So, but we cannot select that from here, from the assistance interface. To select that, go to configuration AI agent again, and you can see that whatever assistant we created here from the UI, that also gets added as an agent here with the exact same prompt. You are the manager, select the recipes, blah, 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 all these things, and it has the recipe creation agent and vector search tools added. Let's add the third tool called send email. This tool has 3 arguments, recipient, subject, and message. So I'm going to select this tool as well and save it. Just give a description, and I'm going to give the same descriptions. And it is saved now. And I'm going to do some extra configuration. Like once the tools are selected and saved, we get this detailed tool usage sections. So since we are dealing with a demo, I don't want the agent to decide the recipient email addresses. So the send email tool, we saw that it has 3 arguments, recipient, subject, and message. The agent should only see the subject and message fields. For that, I'm going to, under detailed tool usage, I'm going to expand this send email option. And send email tool, there we have this property setup option, and we have this restrictions for per property. And I'm going to change this to false value and hide property. But what it means that the agent will not even see that this particular tool has a recipient field that it needs to be filled. It will only fill the subject and body message field. So here I'm going to give a test email address, admin@test.com. Similarly, for the RAG tool as well, the index is the name of the index that we have, which is I think it was umami index. Let me see that configuration. Okay, it's just recipes. So let's give that here, recipes, and the minimum score also. And we don't want the agent to decide it. let's set it as 0.3 and save it. Once this is saved, let's try the same prompt again. And I also have, since I'm using DDAO-based setup, I have the default, I think it's called mail pit. Let me just open the, yeah, it's mail pit. So this interface that captures all the mails that are being sent from the site. So we don't need to set up an SMTP server and all. Now that the prompt is properly set, let's try the assistant. Create an email campaign about Indian street foods. Here first it's using the vector search, searching for recipes that has that match the word Indian street food. It's a semantic search. So even if these exact words are not there, the recipes will be still identified. And once the recipes are identified, it will use the send email tool to send an email. Okay, now it's still doing the vector search.
Yeah, real world. So this is all dummy and a demo kind of a use case. But in real world, you can expect this agent or this assistant to be able to loop over a set of user segments and create email campaigns for different user segments based on what these users have set their preferences as and send them out automatically. So a full-blown agent could look like something which looks over a set of user segments, does its query using the RAG tool, generates an email copy, and then be able to send it out to all of the users who belong to each segment.
Just going to try that again.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is an existing bug with chatbot. If something fails, if the agent fails, it won't stop. It won't stop this. Yeah, now we can see I just increased the match loop. So initially it was using the RAG tool, then it used the email, and we get the message that email campaign has been sent. And here I can see the mail about explore delicious Indian street food, and it has the recipes like vada pav. It only found one, but with some slight prompt adjustments, we'll be able to make this much better. And like we asked, it add the recipe title, a description, the URL to recipe, and it also invites the user to visit the site to understand about more recipes.
Correct.
So that's it we wanted to cover in this session.
I would just like to add, in the previous session, we covered RAG as a concept, as well as how do you implement RAG within Drupal ecosystem. In this session, we were able to combine RAG tool with a couple of other tools to be able to accomplish a bigger task. That's how powerful Drupal AI framework is within Drupal. So the flexibility within Drupal AI framework is as high as your imagination can go in terms of being able to orchestrate multiple tools together to achieve a bigger task. We have been using Drupal AI framework to be able to build bigger use cases for different customers, even at this stage, right from things related to content moderation to content publishing, all of those kind of use cases, by combining multiple agents to be able to work together already. We can pause here. We can stop here for any questions that anyone has related to whatever we have covered today.
And like maybe some of you, was someone trying to ask a question?
No, I don't see a question in the chat.
Okay. One, like initially, like when I also started with agent, one confusion I had was like, what is an assistant? What is an agent? Like how these two things are different.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like the assistant is required to create a chatbot. So if you are building your own UI, you don't need to create an assistant. So you just need to create an AI agent. But if you need your AI agent to be used by a chatbot, then you need to create an assistant entity as well. Because from within the chatbot, when you place the chatbot block, you won't be able to select an agent from there.
So basically, for background actions or background tasks which need to be accomplished, you don't really need an assistant. Is that understanding correct?
Yeah. So for example, if you have tried the Canvas AI module, so in Drupal Canvas, we have a submodule called Canvas AI. There we don't have any assistant. It's purely based on agent, because the interface that the user uses to interact with the agent, it's custom built. We are not using a chatbot there. We created an assistant here because we wanted a chatbot. If you don't need a chatbot, you don't need to create the assistant.
Perfect. I think one of the use case for anyone who's interested in exploring more around AI agents could be try using the same agent. Try to upload images of ingredients and let it find recipes that can be cooked using those ingredients. That's a very powerful use case wherein think of it like you have a fridge in which you have some ingredient, but you don't really know what you can make out of it. That use case can definitely be powered using Drupal AI agent framework. Would be really interesting to see if anyone wants to try that out. All right. With that, Akhil, we can go back to slides. I think we'll quickly conclude. And thank you so much, guys, for staying back a couple of minutes extra. Yeah, join us at Oasis 2025. It's on 29th, 30th of November, the last weekend of this month. We are doing it 2 days full of 2 days completely on Drupal AI code sprint. There's also going to be a framework agnostic track, but yeah, we're looking at building something meaningful out in these 2 days. Contribute heavily to the Drupal AI ecosystem. You can register for the event on the website theoasis.com. Akhil, you can move to the next one. We'd like to hear feedback about the sessions. We'll share these slides across and as well as the recording. But we'd love to hear your feedback on how these sessions have been going on so far for you. Is this helpful? Is this not helpful? Is there something more that we should be focusing upon? Should we increase the length of these sessions? Any feedback which you have, which could help these sessions to become more productive, we would definitely want to hear that. Feel free to drop a note on the feedback form, and to share a word about this series across with your colleagues, with your friends, anyone who's interested in knowing more and more about Drupal AI ecosystem. The next session we're going to focus on automations which you can build using ECA, which is another popular way of orchestrating AI tools together to automate certain common tasks that you would want to do. That's going to be on 19th November, the next Wednesday. Follow us on LinkedIn to stay up to date about what's happening around Oasis and in general about Drupal AI. All of you who have attended this session will receive a direct email invite to the next session. But make sure you use the RSVP link within the email to join the session. And yeah, really thank you all for attending this and staying back for such a long time. Thank you all.